Okay. One thing about Facebook is usually live before it tells you that it's gone live. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna move this. All right. Only thing I don't like about going live on Facebook is that you can only see one person at a time. So when I stop talking and you start talking, then you'll highlight on the screen.
You said
Okay.
on Facebook Live?
Mm-hmm. When you go live on Facebook, it only shows one person's face at a time, and it goes back and forth. So that's okay. All right. You ready, Mimi?
Yeah.
I love it. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. It is your girl, Kimberly Janelle, and I am here with my son, my first love. Um, I call him BB, but what's your name?
My name is Benny Patterson. How y'all doing, everybody? Good evening. Good evening,
Yes.
everybody. Glad to be here.
I call him BB. The grandkids call him Uncle Slim. Uh, but my oldest child, Ben Patterson, and we are excited to kick off Mama Made Me Invest. Okay, so this is not going to be nothing stuffy. The intention is for this to be very informative, casual conversation with some people that you just happen to know who have started on the investment journey and maybe have a little more insight than you. I don't know. But let me go ahead and put the caveat here. This is not intended to be investment advice. We are not financial advisors. We cannot guarantee any results. We are only sharing our journey and our um, limited knowledge. Um, my expertise in tax, I will, every now and then sprinkle it in. My son is very committed to the stock market as far as learning, but we are not giving financial advice. So, when you come into the room, say, hey, if you watching it live, comment live. If you're watching a replay, then let us know you watching a replay. So, let's get into it, son. Um, the idea of this podcast came one day. I was frustrated. Um, and I told my son, I was like, we need to do something. Like all of my education, all this finance and tax and all this stuff that we talk about, what can we do? And so he suggested um a program within a company. I don't even know how we got on the podcast. You remember, BB?
I think you were saying we need to essentially come together and do something like as a family, right? Um, so we leverage the interest in stocks and investing, which is ever more important. Um, and so we started the process of trying to come up with a name,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I went to the gym. I got done going to the gym. I told you let me go to the gym, and I probably hit you back 45 minutes to an hour later, and I was like, "Mama made me invest." We
Yeah.
had a couple names or whatever beforehand, and then it clicked. Mama made me invest, and I feel like it just made sense because that's actually what happened.
It absolutely is is what happened. Um, so backdrop of why investing. Oh, thank you, Mo. She said she loved my new hairdo. Thank you. I'm joining the lock community. Finally, after talking about it for a year. Um, yeah, so I became acquainted with the financial services industry about 3 years ago. I've always been connected to tax, but one of my cousins is a licensed financial advisor, and reached out to me, and I loved what I heard. Went through the process of becoming a licensed financial advisor myself. Got my life insurance license, started studying to be a licensed financial advisor. There's 3 tests that you have to pass. I passed the first one, which was the SIE exam. I was studying for my Series 6. The last exam you have to take is a Series 63. Um, and when I realized how we have been bamboozled, when I say we, I mean Black people, we have been bamboozled and we've been so misinformed um, when it comes to money. Like some stuff we just did not know, other stuff we knew just enough to be dangerous. A lot of us knew a lot of the wrong information. For example, it's great that people, our parents and grandparents told us that you need to save some money out your check. Every check you need to save some money. It's great that they told us that, but what they really should have told us was you need to invest money out of every paycheck, right? So, um, when I realized multitude of things. Number one, the way that we've been raised, saving money, putting money in a little jar, money under the mattress, all the different things that are typical for our culture. When I realized that that was not going to help me to retire early, it was not going to help me to leave a legacy for my grandchildren, because that's what the Bible says, that a wise person leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So not BB's children. I'm sorry, I'm not planning for BB. I'm planning for BB's children. That's what the Bible says that I'm supposed to do. But when I started learning this stuff, that the way that I was working with money was not going to help me to do those things, and realized how much of a disadvantage that I was at the ripe age of, I think I was 44 when I found out this information. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I won't get to a point where I have $1 million saved or $1 million invested or $1 million in my retirement account, but my kids can. And so it was at that point, maybe 2022, BJ, I want to say, when I made it mandatory for BJ. I mean, I did not play. I made it mandatory for BJ and Kareem both to invest money. If you work and you got money coming in this house, you are investing. Um, BJ, we could talk about it now because you're not that same young boy. But how did you feel when I first came home and was like, you opening up an investment account and you gonna invest this money?
I was confused. You know what I mean? I really was because I didn't know anything. You're talking about a mutual fund. What the heck is a mutual fund? You know what I mean? Like, I'm so used to like, let me just, it's gonna send the savings account, boom, and then I need it, I can grab it. But we're here now. We've grown and learned, and I made more money in the market today than I made on in my savings account all last year. So
Oh, okay, you gotta say that again slower. Say it again. You made more money today.
yeah, I made so while sitting at work, getting like my 9 to 5, I made more money in the market than I did the entire year last year in my savings account.
Yeah, that's a proud mom. This a proud mom right here. This a proud mom. Okay. If you if you I don't care what age bracket you find yourself in. I don't care if you're in my generation and you looking on you looking closer to retirement than you are um your first the beginning of your career, or if you in BJ's age bracket and you just kind of getting your footing in the career space. I don't care where you are. This conversation is going to serve you. For people in my generation, I'm here to tell you that it's not too late to get started doing something. Hi daughter. We're to that. What Toot doing? Let me stay focused. Let me stay focused. If you are in my generation and you're closer to retirement than not, I'm here to tell you that it's not too late and there's still things that you can do. If you are in BJ's generation, which my boo just turned 26 yesterday. Oh, happy belated birthday, boo. Um, it's still it this is the perfect time for you to learn what you need to learn so that you can be in a better place when you are your parents' age. My goal, my desire for my children is that by the time they turn 48, I'm 48. I know I don't look it, but I'm 48. My desire is that by the time they turn 48, they have multitude of options. If they want to keep working, they can. If they want to take a year off, they can. If they want to live here 6 months and live out the country for 6 months, they can. And it's because of investing. So, BJ, you was confused. You was like mutual fund. I don't know what you're talking about, lady. Um, One thing I will say is that BJ did not fight me on it. He made whatever he was thinking or feeling, he didn't fight me on it. And so we opened up a mutual fund. And what did we start you with? Was you investing like 50 bucks a month?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 50 bucks a month into a mutual fund because all you have to invest on a monthly basis is $25 a month into a mutual fund. And that's where our journey started. That ain't where we are now. We're gonna keep talking. But to get a mutual fund, it was $25 minimum a month. And so we had two funds that we chose in his mutual fund, which is where the $50 was. And I think one of them was an income fund and one was a growth fund. Or are they both growth funds? Do you know?
No, it was one of each. You're right.
Yep. Yep. So, and that's just what I was told. You want an income fund, you want a growth fund. I didn't understand it then, and it didn't matter. These people were licensed and they was giving me the advice and I knew them, I knew of them. One of them was my cousin. I knew she wasn't gonna steer me wrong. And so that's what we did. We opened up a mutual fund for BB. We opened up a mutual fund for Corinne. And then I had my mutual fund and we stayed at the $50 a month. Um, but then BB kind of took off because I don't think he stayed at $50 a month for long. Can you
Mhm.
share, BJ, what was the click for you? Because at some point, this wasn't just something that I was making you do. Like if it had your full attention and you had leaned in like really heavy with investing. What happened?
So I'll say it took me a few years to get super heavy into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say December of 2020, or I'm sorry, um, September of 2024. I had the opportunity to go work at Charles Schwab,
Mm,
and while working at Charles Schwab, they got us. We're customer service reps, right? So we're on the phones while still studying, trying to get our securities license and everything like that, right? So while I'm on the phone, I'm talking to millionaires, and I mean multi-millionaires. And these people, they didn't do anything but they didn't do anything but accumulate multiple assets and continue to accumulate assets. So I'm sitting here talking to a gentleman. He's like, he's giving me his thing or whatever, and I open up his account. He's got $2 million just at one stock. Two million, and his whole portfolio is $10 million. But he's
gee,
got he's got $2 million in one stock, right? And it's the biggest company in the world right now, right? So everybody, of course, you don't know what that is, right? Um, but I'm like, man, and I'm looking. I can see his occupation. He's got a regular job. No disrespect to anybody, but he's
yeah.
got a regular job. He had like a 7 to 4 o'clock job or whatever. Continued to work overtime, put his money in, and
How
over time
much you think he was making? Regular job, what he maybe making $25 an hour or something?
he's probably making like 22, $21 an hour,
Wow.
maybe, right? And separate from that, there's an older gentleman. He's probably about 90. Portfolio crazy in the millions as well, just from investing. But over time, due to this magical word called compound interest, and over time that money continued to stack. And now I'm realizing I'm like, yo, like I don't need to just work. I don't need to work 2, 3 jobs. You know what I mean? I need to be able to limit my expenses. I need to be able to afford I need to be able to afford anything that I can afford, and everything that I have extra, I need to make sure that I'm allocating a percentage of that into the market. You got to treat it like a bill, right? Like it's something that you have to pay, but you got to look at it like it's something that's going to pay you back because it will ultimately. So
Yeah.
that's what got me super heavy into investing. I opened my account and I ran it up last year.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to do it again this year. You just got to get a good collective of people and have a meeting of the minds, and you hold each other accountable, and you'll end up where you want to be at on the investing side.
Well, maybe this community can become that. BJ, a question may be asked, are you still, what happened to Charles Schwab? Are you still um with them? What would you say?
Yeah, so I am not with Charles Schwab. I missed my. I'll be fully transparent. Missed my securities license exam by one question.
Mm-hmm.
So not letting that get me discouraged, right? Because in those 3 months of me working there, I learned, well, those 3 to 4 months of me working there, I learned a ton of information that I've taken into my day to day life now. So just building those daily habits while I was at Schwab and taking them into the rest of my life that where I'm at right now. So it was a great learning experience. No love lost. I still use Schwab, right? So working there, you get comfortable with the level of security and everything like that. So definitely was a great experience, great
Yeah.
learning.
I really think so now I remember, BB, I was asking you when we were talking about creating a company, like a family company. I was asking you, do you think that you, because you've had so much success in the stock market in a short period of time, do you feel comfortable with teaching other people? And you said, I can get comfortable, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so that's kind of where we started talking about podcast, whatever you want to call this. I guess maybe it's a podcast, but
And call it
um
a meeting of minds.
yeah, maybe this can become a meeting of the minds where um because the more I ask questions to BJ about the different options of investments, because there's no such thing as one investment. There's no such thing. Even when you think about like a Roth IRA, there are things that you can invest in within your Roth IRA. There are things that you invest in within your mutual fund, within your brokerage account. And so we'll get into more of that down the line. We're gonna make sure that all of this makes sense to you. My goal is for us to always speak on a sixth grade level, not to talk down to you, but to make the information so simple that um you can not be overwhelmed or intimidated by investing. Um, so we talked about. I'm gonna go back when BJ was when you were studying at Schwab. Is that when you got your friends investing too? You muted yourself, baby.
Yes, I got them investing in. I believe it was December. December, I got them invested. It was a great experience. Great
What?
company.
How did you convince them to invest?
How did I convince them? I I told him, my childhood friends is like, I've never led y'all astray in my life, so I would never do that. But I told him like the importance, and I shared a similar story to the one I just showed or shared about the gentleman who had 2 million in investments just in one company, right? And so I was like, look, here's this stock. I want y'all to invest in this, and come back and see me. It was inexpensive at the time, very inexpensive. You probably spend more money at the gas station than accumulating 10 shares of this, right? And you don't even think about it because it's like, oh wow, I probably spent like it probably spends $30 to fill up my tank. That's 10 shares of what I told them to get. We spent
Mm,
time, right?
okay.
2 months passed, their shares tripled.
Wow.
So their money tripled. I'm sorry, let me speak correctly. Their money tripled. So then they're like, okay, cool, I'm locked in. And it's just like that's just what you got to see. It's like you can tell them X, Y, Z, right? Like the saying goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. But once they saw that green, they were all in. They were all
Yeah.
in. Now they're to the point where I have my one of my closest friends. He asked me to help him reallocate for this year to set his budget for this year. And I have an entire group chat of people who we talk about investments with. We talk about different companies and stuff that's going on, why certain things are important. For example, what Trump's doing in Venezuela, big deal, right? So it's a lot going on, and we have those conversations that way we don't miss out. Because if
Yeah.
you now you're missing out on some money.
Yep. So let me ask you this question, and then we're gonna go back to what you were saying about Trump and Venezuela and
Sorry.
missing out, right?
Yep,
So question is the Charles Schwab an investment account that will accumulate the compound interest?
that's a great question. So if you a brokerage account is what you need to open. You can open this in Charles Schwab. You can open this at Fidelity. Yeah, it's Edward Jones. I don't know if that's yeah
Yep.
Edward Jones right
Yep.
there. There's a lot of them. There's many of them that you can utilize their brokerage accounts. Right, compound interest is more so a process than an actual like tangible thing. I would say
Mhm.
right. So for example, the longer that you leave your money within that stock or within that fund, the more it's going to compound. So a prime example, right? If you have $100 in a mutual fund in a mutual fund that tracks the S&P 500, the S&P 500 very quickly is just a fund that tracks the top 500 companies in the country.
In the stock market. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you have $100 in there. Let's say just for easy math, because it's going to be easy for me. 10% gain over the
Yep.
entire year.
Yep.
Right.
That's $10.
Exactly. So you'll gain that 10%. So from January 24 to January 25, for example, if you would have did that, January 25, you would have ended up with $110. Now
Yep.
the compound interest comes in because if you rack up another 10%, it's not 10% on the original $100. It's 10% on the 110.
Yep.
And it's just going to continue to grow
And
like
that's $11.
right.
10% of that is $11. So now I add that $11 to my 110
You are at 121,
and I'm at 121.
and then you do the next year 10%. Then you
$12.
right. So it's going to continue to compound. It's going to continue to grow.
Yep.
Then during that time, you're not just letting it sit. Hopefully, you're treating it like a bill every month, and you're putting more money in.
Yep.
So then your fun, your growth. You're going to see the growth, and then you're going to see your money is going to it's going to balloon,
Yep.
right? I can't tell you the last time the S and P had the last down year it had, I believe, was 2020, and we all know what happened then, right? But I think the last time it was really bad was probably like '08. So you got to think that's 10 plus years in between that time of positive gain.
Yep. Um, Let me say this real quick. It was something that I said that I wanted to say. Um, Saving money versus investing, right? And we'll get into this. We actually gonna do a little mini series about why savings is not enough, why a savings account is not enough. We're gonna start the mini series next week. But I want to show you the difference. I just want to share this thing with you to tell you the difference. It's one thing to put money in the bank and the bank account earns 0.002% a year, which if y'all get y'all bank statements, like you don't even make enough in your savings account for you to even really get a tax statement, interest document to even claim it on your taxes. 17 cents in a year, 24 cents in a year, 9 cents in a year.
In a year.
In a year, right? But when you invest, you can make 9% in a mutual fund. BB, I don't know if I told you this before, but when I first started on that whole journey, the Franklin Templeton funds, Franklin, I forget which Franklin fund it It was. That mug was making 53%. It had a 53% return. So I want you to imagine you put $100 in and you make $50. Then you put the $50 with the 100, now you got 150 and you getting a 50% return on the money that you just got sitting in there. And like BJ said, I start with $100. I get 50% return. So now I got 150, but I just put another $100 in there because I'm depositing money on a regular basis as well, plus my compound interest. So y'all gonna make me pull out my whiteboard. I got it right here. I'm gonna have it ready next week. If I put $100 in, I make $50. That means I got 150. But if I add 100, now I got 250. What's 50% of that? 125. So 125 plus my 250, I'm at 375. Oh, but I just put another 100 in there because I'm depositing $100. Now I'm at 475. Do you see in just two cycles, whether that's every month or every quarter, my investment has already like quadrupled. I started with $100, but because of the return and my additional contribution, I'm already almost at $400. And that's the effect of compound interest, that if you put money in and you make it go to work for you, which is the difference between savings and investing. That's what I want to show you. Saving your money is like parking your money in a garage. But when you invest it, it's like making your money go to work. Don't just go sit in the car in the garage. Go to work. And so that's the difference between saving and investing. What was you gonna
The
say, P?
the savings the purpose for the savings account should be for your emergency fund because it's easily accessible and
Yep.
liquid.
Yep. When you say emergency fund, what's like for real an emergency? Because we'll call ourselves putting some money to the side. But if I need to get in it, then what
Yeah.
what what do you say?
So the purpose of an emergency fund, I don't know how well people were paying attention to the job market last year, but it was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I within my role and what I do, I hire people, and the job market across the board, across all sectors, was terrible.
Yep.
So, God forbid, if somebody gets laid off, right? You need to have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses within your savings account, so you are able to pay all the bills that you have as if you still had that job.
Yep. Yep. So your emergency fund, and initially that sounds overwhelming, like 3 to 6 months worth of income. Okay. Focus on just putting away $1,000. Focus on that. Then you get $1,000. Let's focus on getting 1 month's worth
Yeah,
of expenses put back. And then focus on adding another 1,000. And then getting to month two of income, or not income, expenses. Okay. Ideal 3 months minimum of your expenses. Y'all remember what happened when COVID came out and they made everybody go home and you can't, and it was so unexpected. All these people getting sick and stuff going on. Hey, we think something's going on. Hey, we might need to be concerned. Hey, go home today and don't come out the house till we tell you can come out. I witnessed people tripping because they was getting their last paycheck in 5 days and they didn't know what they were going to do after they got that paycheck. They just did not have any disposable income. They didn't have no savings. Unemployment was supposed to pop up and help people, but people was like, okay, I just spent my last $15 yesterday. When is the unemployment gonna kick in? And when you have emergency scenarios like that, nationwide catastrophes, when there's no system in place, it takes a minute for them to, even though that it was dope that they said, okay, we're gonna give everybody unemployment. Okay, perfect. But they had to put a whole process in place and get that whole thing going. So that took like weeks before people started getting anything. What would you do if they told you to go home today? All the government just shut down not too long ago. People was tripping on that. People still had to go to work and was not getting paid, right? What would you do if the world shut down, bills still kept coming, but you cannot make any money for 3 weeks, for 6 weeks, for 12 weeks? what would you do? Do you have a stash of money that you could tap into to make sure that your life could still keep moving in spite of what's happening? That is the emergency fund. If there is an emergency, and that is an emergency, not because I found these shoes on sale and they might not get on come on sale again. Not this feels like a once in a lifetime concert opportunity and I really want to go. That's not an emergency. Um so I just wanted to make sure that my son's definition of emergency fund and my definition of emergency fund was the same. Um BB, real quick, let's go back to, let me check, make sure we ain't got no questions in here. Okay. While you were at um Charles Schwab learning, um, and talking about all the things that you were learning, and you opened up your brokerage account with Charles Schwab, a brokerage account, and he listed it, Vanguard, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Edward Jones, all these companies, they're called brokerages, because there's individual people who, same way that a real estate brokerage is full of real estate agents, of financial investment brokerage is full of financial advisors who help individual people, right? So the brokerage account is what you create with the company. It doesn't matter who the company is. That gives you access to see all the investment options that are out there. Um, so BJ started his at Charles Schwab. Did you have to start one at Charles Schwab, or you just did it because it?
Yeah, I just did it because that was my introduction, and
Yep,
I was there. I saw the process. I saw how secure they were in terms of how safe my money was, and I was like, it would make no sense for me to try to open it somewhere else when I
yep,
see the process here.
yeah. Especially with him going through the licensure process, it made sense for his money to be where he was at. Um, but as he started learning and he started talking about different things, well, this stock and this is doing this, and I'm investing in that. I'm leaning in like, okay, buddy, maybe I need to move my accounts, because at the time we started our investment journey with Primerica Financial Services. The difference with Primerica and Charles Schwab, nothing against the companies, right? But the way that the brokerage account was created with Charles Schwab, you have more access to do your own moving around. And I
Yeah.
don't know if Primerica is like that or not. Maybe if we logged on and got the online,
Uh,
um
can I interrupt real quick?
yeah.
I'll tell you what the difference was.
Okay.
Difference was, and this is important for people who are, kind of just getting into it, is that I was investing in ETFs. Okay. Now ETFs are like mutual funds. An ETF is called an exchange traded fund. Essentially, what it is that if you don't know basically what this stock is going to do, how it's going to grow, and things like that, right? What you can do is invest in an ETF, and there's going to be a fund manager who's going to control the entire thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you won't ever get to meet them, you won't ever get to talk to them, but this is a professional fund manager who's going to be handling these trades, right? So these ETFs, they operate multiple times throughout the day, whereas mutual funds, they just trade one time per day. So you'll
Yeah.
be able to see the price before it opens at 9:30, and then upon once the stock market closes at 4 o'clock, you'll be able to see then how much money you made.
Yeah.
For ETF, you'll be able to see kind of where you're at. If you want to check it during lunch, whatever, your break, stuff like that, you'll be able to see what you did for that day.
Yeah.
So that's what I was investing in because I didn't really know like how to invest at the time. So as I'm learning, I'm still having my money be professionally managed. Now I'm still having my money be professionally managed, but there are other opportunities that I'm taking advantage of myself based off research that I'm doing in my own time.
Yeah. ETFs are like mutual funds in the sense that isn't it a variety in that fund?
It's
Okay.
a basket. Yep, it's a basket of stocks.
Yep. So a mutual fund, this is how I learned what a mutual fund looks like. And I won't go through the whole day, but a mutual fund is like if you've ever been on an elevator with a glass ceiling, glass roof, and you can see the cables, right? Some elevators have 3 cables. Some elevators have like 9 cables. And all these cables are working to make the elevator go up and down. Well, the mutual fund is like the cables on the elevator. And each of those cables represents an industry. So, whatever my mutual fund is, let's just say VOO, that might not even be a mutual. Is that a mutual fund or is that an ETF?
That's an ETF.
That's an ETF. Let's pretend that VOO is a mutual fund. So if I want to invest in VOO, one of my cables might be in the medical industry, and it might be, I don't know, community health. Let's just say that. Let's just say community health network has a stock, and that's part of my VOO. Another one of my cables is probably going to be in the tech industry. Another one of my cables is going to be in the uh say it
Financials, healthcare.
financial sector. The beautiful part about mutual fund is that you get a little piece of a whole bunch of different industries versus if I put $100 into a Tesla stock, one particular company, one particular industry, and Elon Musk starts saying some crazy stuff and the price of my stock goes down, I've lost a whole lot of money. It's like having one cable on my elevator. Tesla, that's my only stock. This is an example. This is an example. Versus in a mutual fund or ETF, I got 9 cables. I got 9 different industries. So if one of them is not doing very well because something happens or the market or whatever, I'm not going to feel it as much because I got 8 other cables that are probably doing really great, right? That's the benefit of a mutual fund. That's the benefit of an ETF. Now, BJ, correct me if I'm wrong. Number one, a fund manager's main job with ETFs is to make sure that that fund makes money. That's their job.
Yeah,
But there's not fund managers on mutual funds, right? Only on ETFs.
I don't want to say for sure.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I do know the difference is that the multiple ETFs can move multiple times a day, and the mutual fund is just the one time. I did know that. Okay, I the more BJ started learning about investing and leaning in and paying attention to stuff, and I knew his money was growing. Now, one thing I'm gonna tell you about BJ, he gonna share knowledge. He ain't gonna share you the specifics of his dollars. Okay. Because I was like, BJ, what's your balance? And he was like, it's good. You remember that? I was trying to figure out what your what your balance was with your primary account. Um, but I knew that his money was working for him because of his excitement and certain things that he would say. So I told BJ, well, I think I need to get a Schwab account, brokerage account, so you can help me make some of the moves that you're making because I don't have as much time to invest and put my money to work as BJ does. And so since then, I have moved all of my money from Primerica to the Schwab account. Again, not because there's anything wrong with the companies, but because I wanted to be able to make moves when I needed to make moves, and more so, BJ paying attention to the market. I knew that he would help me make the moves that I needed to so that I can make this money work for me as fast as I possibly can. Um, I think it's a benefit to people connected to us as well, BJ, that we did not finish the journey of becoming a financial advisor because you can't share tips and ideas and all of that, like that community that you have right now, the of meeting of the minds and sharing knowledge and information. Would you be able to do that if you were actually a licensed financial advisor?
So actually, I would be able to legally give advice and get, if I have my license, I'd legally be able to give advice. Um,
Publicly?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Is that still something that interests you, being
I'm
licensed financial advisor?
I'm still trying to accomplish this year. It's on my. I'm not a New Year person anymore, but it's on my to-do list for the year.
Okay. I love knowing that.
Yeah,
I love knowing that.
I'm not a New Year's resolution person anymore because why wait, right? So
I love it. Okay. I wanna I wanna share some statistics, more reasons why these conversations that we'll be having are important. For my generation, less than half of Americans are on track to maintain their lifestyle in retirement. Only about 40 to 47% of workers across generations are positioned well for retirement. Another statistic says that many experts recommend saving 10 to 15% of your income to be in a good spot for retirement, but that's if you started saving for retirement when you were like BJ's age. But when you're in your 40s, mid 40s, closer to 50, you can't afford to only save 10 to 15% of your income. That will not
put you in a position to where you want to be at,
and
and
maintain your lifestyle.
yeah,
That's why you see these people at Walmart and Meijer and some of these places, they 75 and 80 years old because we did not learn these money principles about putting money away in a way that helps us to maintain our lifestyle or live the way that we want to. Um, when people say they want to retire a millionaire, this statistic says that only about 2.5%, less than 3% of all Americans have $1 million or more in their retirement accounts.
a lot of people are millionaires based off of their home equity.
Okay, I was just getting ready to get to that. It says if you broaden it to include all assets like home equity, about 18% of households are millionaires. So it jumps from 2.5% to 18% if you include the home. Um, okay. 75% of millionaires say that consistent long-term investing is the reason for their success. That is the point that we are making. Long-term consistent investing. That can even look like, if you're in your 20s like BJ is, that can look like $50 a paycheck. That's consistent and just doing it and not thinking about it and not thinking that you need to use it or you need to stop it or you need to, right? 80% of millionaires invested in a 401k as part of their wealth building strategy.
Goodness,
BJ, have you always invested in your 401k since you started working?
yeah, all the way up to the match. Whatever the match is for the company is how much I invest in the
E-
401k because it's free money. I can't miss out on no free money.
Explain the match. What does match mean?
Yeah, so there's some in some instances, depending on where you work, the company will offer you a 401k, and they will match your contribution up to a certain percentage. So if that percentage is 3%, then essentially that's what you should be. investing is at 3%, because really, if you invest at 3%, it's 6%. So it's free bread. It's something you didn't have to work for or put in or contribute to. It, it's because you showed up to work every day,
Yep.
or you showed up to work is because you work there, you're employed there.
Yep.
So that's what the match is, and a lot of people miss out on that. Actually,
Free money.
yeah,
Yeah. We used to advise people, and I still do whenever I get the opportunity to, because I see a lot of people who the match is 3%. The company says, okay, if you invest 3%, we'll match the 3%. And I'll see people that's investing like 9%, 10% in their 401k. And I always encourage them to only do the match. And then the extra that you can afford to invest, if you can afford to invest 10% of your income, but the company only matches 3, invest the 3% in your company's 401k. But then that other 7% that you are adding to that 401k, let's find something outside of your company's 401k to invest in that's going to have a better return on that investment, because your 401k is not going to grow as fast as some of the mutual funds and ETFs and other investment opportunities that are within a brokerage. So, um, but yeah, leaving that free money on the table. I promise you, for all the years that I've worked in some of these companies and never even activated the 401k or the 403b, just didn't even know that the money was there. And sadly, sometimes you'll sit down with an HR rep when you first get hired, and they won't even tell you like the benefit of enrolling into the 401k or the 403b. They don't even encourage. They just like, here's the forms, and you just fill out what you want and then give it back to us. um so yeah, I've left a lot of free money on the table. uh,
there's some people who have forgotten that they even invested in their 401k, left their company, boom, 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 change address, change numbers. Whole time you missing out on 100K because it just sat there and grew the entire time.
yep.
So you definitely want to make sure that you pay attention to that. You do the whatever match that your company offers, and if they offer like a financial service, an external financial service, we have a company come in and help us with our 401k and stuff like that, right? So if they offer that, go please. Like it's free. Like they will do that for they're in, what is it? They have that connection, that partnership, right? So they're there for your disposal or at your disposal. So make
Mhm.
sure you're taking advantage of that, asking questions. That's what they get paid for. So don't worry about bugging them, right? Right? Because at the end of the day, it's your money.
Yep.
So, and I don't know about you, but I don't play by my money.
No, he does not. No, he does not. So what do you think, BJ? We talked earlier about um mindset when it comes to investing. What do you think are the nuggets for your generation when it comes to mindset and investing? And I'm gonna speak to my generation.
Okay. The first thing I'll say is live below your means.
Hmm.
Um, and it's so crazy because I remember, when I turned 21, 22, everybody's going out. We're going to the club, boom, boom, boom. And I'm finding out sections is like $500, and that's just to get in there. Do you know what you could buy with $500 right now? Yeah, that's 5 shares of Nvidia. Nvidia is the biggest company in the world. 5 shares of Nvidia, and I'm sitting here thinking like, people are really wasting their money on this, and this is going to waste, right? Going to waste. Whereas if you invest that 500 and you look at it like we said on that 10%, you are getting to the bag. You're getting to the bag. So it's like, do you want to have fun now, or do you want to have fun later? You know what I mean? And have work be an option. Do you want to be able to take your mom on a cruise? Ladies and gentlemen, y'all want to go on back to back to back to back cruises with your spouse and not have to worry about work for 2 years because y'all just too busy seeing the world? Y'all want to be able to sit at home and y'all got this dividend check coming at the end of every month? and you don't have to work because you're getting 5 bands for just sitting on your behind and not doing anything, taking care of all your bills. Like that's why like the mindset you have to treat it like a bill,
Yeah.
right? You have to treat it like it's your rent, like it's your car payment, like it's your insurance, because it's actually insurance. So that's the mindset part that you have to think. You don't have people are too busy trying to live for Instagram and be flashy and wear their money, whereas I see Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, they wear button ups and all that other stuff. You know what I mean? Like you don't see them in design. Designer stuff is nice, but it's not gonna make you rich. You can look rich all day long. So you have to prioritize. You don't have forever.
Yeah.
There's a saying that says the second best time to invest was today. The best time to invest was yesterday.
Yeah.
So don't miss out on any bread.
Yeah. I think for my generation, um and then let me ask you this, and I'm gonna give the nuggets for my generation. Do you remember when you were saying that your generation about going out and clubbing and blah blah? Do you remember when I begged you to stay home? I begged you to stay home and was like, just stack your money, please. Just just stay home and stack your money. Don't leave yet. And you was like, no, I think I need to get my own place. And it wasn't long after that you was like, oh, I was having a conversation with your sister. And I was saying, don't leave. $10,000, save $10,000. And she was like, $10,000. And you was like, no, trust me, you need to listen.
So, for real, because I moved out and I just had the bed. I just had the bed and the TV, and I mean of course over time you start making smarter moves, but you don't you no pain no gain, right? You learn your mistakes, and I'd be remiss if I let my sister make the same mistakes that I made, right? So definitely wish I would have stayed home a little bit longer. I think I would have been in a better position. Well, I know I would have been in a better position than what I am in now, um, or at least a little bit ahead of where I am now. So yeah, definitely, definitely remember that.
Yeah, but you're doing great for where you are. I think you definitely have made up for it with your Corinne said, I wish I could go back and listen to you, Mom. You made up for it, I believe. And so mindset nugget for my generation, what would I say? First of all, I would say to anybody that's my age that is listening to the conversation and they thinking it's too late for me. Um I might as well not try because I'm not gonna get to millionaire status anyway. What I would say to you is that if you start now, wherever you end up from starting today, you still gonna be further along than if you do nothing today and get to the same place. So let's say, hypothetically, that's right, husband, it's not too late. I'm 48, right? Me and my husband have decided we got 15 years. We got 15 years to grind it out, to do all the things we want to do, and then we done. We dropping the mic and we gone. Okay? 15 years. If I decided right now that I don't have enough time and so I might as well not invest because I won't make it to millionaire status in 15 years, I will not get as far as I would if I just say, okay, I'm going to start today and I'm gonna do whatever I can. I'm going to get further by starting today and doing something versus not doing anything and continuing down the same path that I've been on, which is putting money under mattresses, putting money in a bank, in which me and BJ are going to talk about this whole middleman thing. What we don't realize as a culture is that your money is being invested. The question is, are you investing it or are you letting Fifth Third invest it? Are you investing it or is BMO Harris investing it? Are you investing it or is Old National or First Internet Bank or whatever bank or credit union that you belong to, wherever your money is sitting, making 0.003% every month, the bank is investing your money. And then they pay you pennies on the dollar for borrowing your money and investing it. Now, I'm going to tell you how I know that that's the truth. There are laws, and I can't think of what it is right now, of course, because I'm trying to bring it to remembrance, but there is a law that every bank has to follow in regards to how much money they have to have on hand. Your bank balance is only a digital balance. If you go to the bank and need to withdraw a large amount of money from your bank account on spot, it won't happen because they only keep a certain amount of money in every bank branch. As a matter of fact, if every American went to the bank today in the morning, let's say in the morning, and went to close their account, pulled all their money out of the bank, we would break the banking system because that money is not there. Okay? And I'm gonna give you something to do so you can try me and you can prove me right. Okay? Call your bank tomorrow. Don't give them any identifying information. Don't tell them your name, none of that. Just ask them a question. Hey, how you doing today? Great, great, great. Hey, listen, I got a question. I need to pull $10,000 out of my account because I need to purchase a car. Cash. How much notice do you need for me to be able to walk in and get that? And most banks are going to tell you 24 to 48 hours so that they can do a withdrawal request from their investment accounts and make sure that that money is in your account. That's why they make you do a personal request. What's your account number? What's your date of birth? So they can request the money and put it in your account. So your money's being invested. The question is, are you benefiting from the money being invested or is the bank? And what has happened for so many years, so many generations really, is that we have let the banks borrow our money, and they make the big investment, uh, the interest. They make the big money on our money, and they pay us pennies on the dollar. So my nuggets to somebody in my generation will be, it's not too late. And if you do nothing, you'll still have nothing. At least if you do something, you'll have something more than what you would have if you did nothing. So, do you have any parting words, my son, for today?
Uh, any parting words? No. Just if anybody has any questions, comments, you want to get started, open up your brokerage account or anything like that, I'd love to sit on the phone with you and help you out, meet with you in person and help you out. Um, I'm not Warren Buffett by any means, but I'm not a dummy either. So I please feel free to reach out to me. Yeah, I got the messenger or whatever. So yeah, that's my parting word for tonight.
Yep. I hope this has been good for you guys. Like I said, this is just the beginning of what we plan to share. If you have questions, you can leave them in the comment, and we'll make sure that we address them and answer them. If you got certain things that you want to know, but maybe you're scared to ask out loud, or you don't want to feel stupid, that this is the place um, for you to ask those questions. We would love to be able to break them down. And you can see tonight, I said some stuff and BJ corrected me. He was like, no, actually, you can do that, or no, that's not. And so I'm not proclaiming to be a know-it-all in this arena. I just know that investing has changed a lot of people's lives. One of my girlfriends, I got her investing the same time I got my kids investing, and she was able to pay her house off like 8 years early. And she said it to me, if you never had told me about investing, I never would have been able to do this for myself. And so investing works. It works, but you got to do the work too. And so um this was fun, BB.
Yes, it was awesome. Great. This was great.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys next Tuesday, same time, same bat channel. Bye, y'all.
Peace.